Here's a fully rewritten version of your weather script with fresh wording and structure while keeping all the original information, forecast details, and dramatic flow intact for YouTube use. A dangerous stretch of severe weather is about to unfold across the United States, bringing the threat of destructive winds, giant hail, and multiple tornadoes. This extremely active pattern will kick off today and continue through the weekend, with storms rapidly developing across the Great Plains and Midwest. The first round of storms is expected to produce intense wind damage and hail larger than baseballs, while Saturday may also bring several powerful tornadoes. However, the greatest concern arrives Sunday and Monday, when conditions could support stronger tornadoes, widespread damaging winds, and massive hailstones. Unfortunately, the active weather pattern is expected to continue even after Monday. Let's break down everything happening over the next 7 days, because there are a lot of important updates regarding this major severe weather setup. Starting with today, the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded parts of central Iowa into an enhanced risk, which is a level 3 out of 5 for severe weather. A slight risk extends from Wisconsin all the way down into Texas, while a broader marginal threat stretches from Michigan into West Texas. Every type of severe weather is possible today, but the biggest issue looks to be destructive straight-line winds. Some storms may produce wind gusts stronger than 80 miles per hour this afternoon and evening, especially from the Texas Panhandle through Iowa. Anything lightweight outdoors could easily be tossed around by these storms. Large hail is another major concern, with some areas from central Kansas into western Wisconsin potentially seeing hailstones as large as baseballs or even bigger. Vehicles left outside could take serious damage. There is also a smaller tornado threat this afternoon and evening. The areas being monitored most closely include southern Iowa and another zone in southeastern Minnesota into northeastern Iowa. If storms can remain more surface-based, the tornado risk may increase slightly in those locations. Residents in southeast Minnesota should stay alert in case the forecast becomes more serious later today. Be sure to stay connected for updates throughout the day because conditions could change quickly, and there is also a chance for live severe weather coverage if storms intensify. Moving into Saturday, the severe weather risk expands from the Central Plains into parts of the Ohio Valley. Damaging winds are once again expected to be the primary hazard, with a likely line of thunderstorms developing during the afternoon and evening. Nebraska and Iowa could once again experience wind gusts over 80 miles per hour. Large to very large hail will also be possible with any isolated supercell thunderstorms that form, especially across parts of Oklahoma, Texas, southern Kansas, and southwestern Nebraska. Meanwhile, a broad low-end tornado threat stretches from Colorado into northeastern Iowa. Forecast confidence suggests that the tornado outlook could still be upgraded later, so everyone in these areas should have multiple ways to receive weather warnings. Sunday marks the beginning of what could become a much more significant severe weather outbreak. Sunday and Monday both have the potential to produce major severe weather events with tornadoes, giant hail, and widespread damaging winds. Right now, Sunday looks especially concerning for parts of the plains. The corridor from Sioux Falls to Omaha, Wichita, and Oklahoma City appears to have the highest potential for strong tornadoes and extremely large hail. Outside of those areas, storms capable of damaging winds and a few tornadoes may also impact Minneapolis, Milwaukee, and portions of North Texas near the Red River Valley. But the biggest concern still appears to be Monday. Monday could easily become one of the most dangerous severe weather days of the month across the Great Plains and Midwest. A strengthening low-pressure system moving over the Rockies will create an environment highly supportive of severe storms. Multiple rounds of thunderstorms are expected, including isolated supercells and larger storm lines. Any supercells that form during the afternoon may produce giant hail and strong tornadoes. As the evening progresses, the environment could become supportive of intense or even violent tornadoes. Meanwhile, Farther north into the Midwest and northern plains, a powerful cold front will support widespread severe weather, including tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail. A large squall line may also develop, bringing destructive winds across a huge area. At this point, Monday is shaping up to be an extremely serious severe weather day, and people across the plains and Midwest should pay very close attention to future forecasts. This setup has the potential to become one of the biggest severe weather events of May, even compared to what may happen later in the month. By Tuesday, the severe weather threat shifts eastward. A slight risk remains in place from Oklahoma City into Springfield, Illinois, where damaging winds, hail, and a few tornadoes could once again occur. Now let's go deeper into the timing of these storms over the next few days. For today, much of the afternoon will actually remain fairly quiet before storms begin rapidly developing during the evening. A few isolated severe storms may form across Texas and Oklahoma earlier in the day, and some dry thunderstorms could even spark wildfires due to extremely dry conditions. That happened yesterday, and could happen again today. Between roughly 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., thunderstorms are expected to erupt from southern Minnesota through Omaha and Wichita. Initially, these storms will mainly produce giant hail and damaging downburst winds. One or two storms could briefly become tornadic, especially in northeast Iowa and near Des Moines. Later tonight, between 10 p.m. and midnight, storms should become much more widespread from Wisconsin into Kansas. Strong winds and large hail will remain the biggest threats, while the tornado risk should stay relatively low because the storms are expected to become more outflow dominant. During the overnight hours, storms will move into Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio with heavy rain, lightning, and gusty winds before gradually weakening toward sunrise. Saturday's severe weather should begin earlier in the day. Storms may start developing as early as 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., especially across Iowa. These early storms will mostly be hail producers with little tornado risk. Later in the evening, storms will rapidly expand across Kansas and Nebraska as a stronger low-pressure system approaches from the Rockies. Large hail and damaging winds will once again become widespread concerns. A brief, isolated tornado cannot be ruled out, but the risk for strong tornadoes Saturday currently appears very low. By late Saturday night, storms may become messy and slow-moving across the Midwest and plains, potentially leading to localized flooding issues while the severe weather threat slowly decreases. Sunday is when the atmosphere becomes much more favorable for tornadoes. A strengthening low-pressure system, combined with increasing wind shear, will create a dangerous setup across the plains. By late afternoon, storms should rapidly intensify across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Colorado. Any isolated storms that form ahead of the main line, near the dry line, could become dangerous supercells, capable of producing softball-sized hail and strong tornadoes. Forecast models may be overestimating the number of isolated storms, but even a few supercells in this environment could become significant. The highest tornado threat Sunday appears to be between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. Central Time. Later Sunday night, storms are expected to merge into a large squall line, capable of widespread damaging winds and embedded tornadoes from South Dakota into Minnesota and Iowa. Then comes Monday, which could feature an even more dangerous setup. A very intense low-pressure system may strengthen to around 994 millibars over Kansas and Nebraska. Systems this strong often create steep atmospheric lapse rates, which can significantly increase both the tornado and hail threats. Storms are expected to develop from Iowa and Minnesota southward into Kansas City and Oklahoma City during the afternoon. Large hail, destructive winds, and strong tornadoes may all occur. By evening, storms could become widespread from Texas all the way into Minnesota. Any isolated supercells that remain separate from the main storm line would have the potential to produce strong or large tornadoes. Damaging winds and giant hail may become the dominant hazards as storms evolve overnight into the Mississippi Valley and Midwest. Tuesday continues the active pattern with another broad severe weather risk stretching from Texas into the Ohio Valley. Damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes will all remain possible as the storm system slowly shifts into Canada. By Wednesday, the severe weather threat should become more scattered and less intense, although isolated severe storms could still develop from the Gulf Coast into the Northeast. Beyond that point, forecast confidence becomes lower, but the overall weather pattern still looks very active heading into next weekend and possibly the following week. Long-range models continue showing a large trough along the western United States, which supports above-average rainfall and continued severe weather chances across the plains and eastern U.S. The next 2 weeks could become extremely active nationwide, so now is the time to stay weather-aware and prepared. Keep checking for updates frequently because this severe weather pattern is far from over. Thank you so much for watching today's forecast update. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because we may go live later with breaking storm coverage and severe weather tracking. Stay safe, stay alert, and we'll see you again in the next forecast update or live stream.